Hi, everybody. This is Justin Fordham. I'm actually a local mortgage broker from Norwich. That is me. I've been in the industry 20 years. And the reason for making this recording is we're obviously in the middle of a corona epidemic. And from a financial advisory point of view, my concern is that with everybody being locked down on restricted incomes, that people are going to start suffering financially because they aren't aware how to budget or run a monthly budget. By way of experience, I've been in the game 20 years. This is me on the Best of Norwich. I've been on the Best of Norwich since 2012, 48 five-star reviews. This is us on Google. I've only recently updated my Google listing. We've already got 31 five-star reviews over there. So hopefully well regarded in my industry and working with clients. This is our website. I just want to show you, by way of further experience, is I have worked alongside a step change debt charity, or I had worked alongside step change debt charity for over 15 years. And that is basically helping people who've got themselves into financial difficulty and helping them with mortgage advice and rebalancing their budgets to get them back towards normality. So that is me. What I want to do today is just share how to run an effective budget. So this budget is, well, it's amazing how many people, certainly when I work with them from a mortgage perspective, they actually don't have a monthly budget. You ask people the incomes and outgoings, and they go, well, haven't got a clue. It's whatever comes into a bank account and basically what goes out, and there may or may not be money left over at the end of the day. That to me is financial suicide. Before throwing restrictive incomes into account and being locked down and stuff like that. So purpose of today is just to show you how easy it is to run a monthly budget. Should anybody want a copy of this, I will have this up at the end of the presentation for you. You can just drop us an email to inquiries@jffinancial.co.uk and I'll actually send you a copy of the blank budget for you. All that we ask, whoops, spelling mistake. All that we ask in return is if you do have a mortgage that's coming up for review, or one of your friends or family have got a mortgage that's coming up for review, that you just remember us. Try help us stay in business as well. So let's get back to the budget. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a relatively straightforward budget. Obviously, different people have got different levels of earnings and outgoings, but here is just a very simple way of keeping track of it. Now, what I implore you to do is actually do this every single month. Not a case of do it once and put it to one side. It is a case of do it every single month. So if we just say first person, and I'm just going to use round figures here. So say the first person earns £1,500 a month. Second person earns £2,000 pounds a month. This is your net income that's coming in. You can see over here you've got £3,500 that's coming into the household. Now you may also get other income, so it could be things like child benefit, child tax credit. There could be other benefits involved. You may have a pension income. You may receive other types of income as well. Now, to add other incomes is relatively easy. You literally copy paste and you just add the incomes over here. Okay, so obviously play with it as you need to. Once you've got your incomes, we then have a look at your outgoings. So if you've got ground rent, service charges, if you've maybe got a vitamin in the background, but most people will probably have rent or mortgage payment. So let's just say average mortgage payment is £700 a month. Okay, what you then need to do is actually work out exactly what you're paying for the things like water, council tax, landline, broadband, and stuff like that. Personally, after working with clients for 20 years, a lot of people tend to put council tax on it, or paid every 3 months, every 6 months, or once a year. Same with things like water and that sort of stuff. I implore you guys to get this onto a monthly direct debit. It is a lot easier to manage, and you don't have payment shocks every 3, 6, or 12 months. Say you've got £35 a month for water. That's a lot easier to cope with once a month than trying to find £420 in the course of a year as a one-off payment. So obviously it only applies to bills where you can pay it once a year. It could be things like car insurance and stuff like that. There are ways that you can adjust that, but I'll talk about that later. So let's just get a generic budget going out. So 35, council tax, call it 120. landline broadband, call it 25. You may have oil, depends on where you live in the country, or you may have electric and gas. So I'm just going to say £50 each. We've got £100 a month going out for that. House maintenance, you may not have anything to do today, but you may need something to do next week, next month, next year. So it's always good practice to have some sort of house maintenance going to one side. You may have Sky, you may have Virgin, you may have BT Sports, you've got various other bits and bobs there. So we know that a TV license is about £13, and you may have Sky TV as well. So I'm just going to round that up to say £50. Obviously, you would personalize this um, to your specific circumstances, but this is just purely for illustration. Mobile phones, a lot of people haven't got a clue what to pay for a mobile phone. You guys need to sit down and work this out. So I'm going to put a budget in there of £25. ISA savings, endowments, and that sort of stuff. The way that I typically do my budget is I'll get all the generic outgoings out first, then come back in and fill in savings. But one thing you do want to do is have some sort of a home emergency fund. That home emergency fund is basically money that you squirrel off to one side, and it basically accumulates over the course of 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be. Now, it may not sound a lot, £25 a month, but in the course of a year, you've saved £300 already. You multiply that up over a couple of years or 3 years, and all of a sudden you've got a nice chunk of change sitting there. Buildings and contents, depends if you rent or whether you live in a flat, if you own a flat or whether you own a house. Just for illustrative purposes, I'm going to say £35. Gas utility insurance contracts, you put down what you need to. And then, of course, you've got the likes of life cover, critical illness, dental plans, and so forth. So once again, just put, say, £25 a month over there. Now, debt servicing, it's extremely important. Now, it's amazing how many people I speak to who will say, oh, we've got a 0% credit card. Okay. Just because you've got £1,000 on 0% does not mean that you do not have to pay that debt back. So it is always worth taking those credit cards, take a monthly payment, and you put it down. Just for this purpose, student loans, if it comes off of your basic salary, you would not include it into that figure. If you are self-employed or something like that, you would. Ongoing credit commitments, let's just say £150 a month for credit card payments, just so there's a figure there. Obviously, what you could do, if you wanted to, is you can actually modify this and just say things like credit card 1, you could have credit card 2. Oops. You could have credit card 2, and effectively you could multiply that up as many times as you actually needed to if you wanted to list them down individually. Now, if you have got multiple debts, it may be worth doing this. So for instance, you may have, for instance, a car loan. So you put that down over there. You could have, oops, try that again. You could have a car loan. You could have a personal loan. Okay, so you could have that down over there. So this is where you can play around with the budget and make it more personalized to yourself. Let's get that out of there. Right. So let's just say student loan is 0. We've got car loan is 150, personal loan, and let's just call that you've got credit card payments as well. Call that £100 a month. Okay. If you've got school fees, child minding costs, what have you, pop those down over there. Even if it is things like after school clubs, it may be that you're paying, say, £50 a month for after school care. It is money that you still need to pay out, so it is always worth budgeting for it. Clothes, the amount of times I'll speak to people and they never put a figure down for clothes. You guys don't walk around there in your birthday suits. You do buy clothes, albeit it might not be every week. It might be every month, every 3 months, every 6 months. So same thing again is put something down there, accumulate it in a savings account somewhere, which means you've got the cash available when you need to buy your stuff. Prescriptions, that could be things like Specsavers for your contact lenses. It could be for regular prescriptions down at the chemist. Obviously worth having some in there. Now, food and grocery shopping. This is always an interesting one because you speak to one partner, if there's 2 of you, and somebody will turn around and say, oh, it's only £150 a month. You speak to the other person and they say it's about 400. What you need to do is really look at your last, say, 3 months that you've spent at Sainsbury's, Tesco's, wherever you're shopping, and actually work out an average. My wife and I sit down on a regular basis. We'll have a look at what's going on, and where we need to, we will actually sort of adjust that. So, I'm going to put it down a figure over there is £350. and that'll cover your general shopping and toiletries. Different households will have different figures in there. It also depends whether you, eat fillet steak every night or whether we, eating other sort of meals. So adjust that according to your personal lifestyle. Birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas. You do buy presents occasionally. Some people buy presents and stuff like that. If you do, if you've got children, if you've got family, if that's the way that you're inclined, put something down there. Once again, is squirrel that off into separate bank accounts. I run anything between, I'd probably say 7 to 10 bank accounts. All of them I can name. So I have got things like birthdays, Christmas savings. I've got holiday savings. I've got savings if I go for car insurance because I pay mine annually, but I do save for it monthly. So definitely worth squirreling that to one side. You may or may not go to things like the cinema or the theatre. And then, of course, eating out, drinking and smoking. We all like a takeaway. We all like to go out for dinner occasionally. So it is worth popping something down over there as well. Travel. This is always an interesting one as well, is the amount of times people say, well, I've got nothing going out per month for car insurance, but they pay it annually. If you pay your car insurance annually, you still need to budget for this. Okay. There's no point going through the entire year, 11 months, and all of a sudden coming up saying, I need to find 300, 600, £1,000 for your car insurance. So, if you are paying it annually, please save monthly for it. If you're paying it monthly, then it's a lot easier to manage. Obviously, there is reasons why you may pay certain things annually because you may get a discount, but make sure that you're putting money to one side to cover that. So in this case, let's just say it's £600 a year, £50 a month. Vehicle maintenance, you will need to buy a car tire occasionally. You may need to take it for a service. There may be something else that needs doing on the vehicle. So make sure that you put something in there if you have a vehicle, be it a car, be it a motorbike. If you use trains, buses, then great. You may not have a car, in which case you'd need to put a figure in for your trains and buses. Um, petrol, diesel, be realistic with this and then overestimate as well. You don't just drive to work and back. You do occasionally nip down to the local park, the local beach, or whatever the case is, to take the dogs out, whatever the case may be. So, be realistic with this. If there is anything surplus that's left over from petrol, diesel, you can throw it into maintenance accounts, in which case you start adding to that as well. So let's just say that it's going to be £200 a month for petrol, diesel, which is fine. Now, holidays and travel. If you do go on set holidays each year and you know how much that's going to cost you, for instance, you buy a package holiday that's going to cost £1,000 and you basically go next year, well, yes, you could save £83 a month and that'll basically cover that for you. So if you buy package holidays and you can pay it off monthly, put a figure in there, or if you save it just into general bank account, you can put a figure in there as well. So let's just say they go on holiday, it's going to cost them £1,000 a year. You've then got other sundries that go out, appliance warranties, maintenance if you pay for child maintenance, if you've got children with other partners, charity donations, if you support local charities. People say sports and hobbies and things like that, they almost forget about that. I mean, if you belong to, for instance, a golf club, you could be paying comfortably £50, £60 a month for that. Gym memberships range, similar sort of things, anything from 20 quid to 50 quid, and other hobbies. So, put an amount down there if you do have hobbies. Payday loans, can't say I agree with them, but, some people do take them out. If you've got union fees, that's fine. Hairdressers and barbers. It's amazing how many times I speak to people and they never have a figure down for this. I'm sure people do occasionally get their haircuts. Otherwise, we'd all be walking around with dreadlocks and all sorts. So, so hairdressers, barbers, put a figure down there. And then, of course, you've got other like window cleaning and other bits as well. Pets. It's amazing how expensive pets can be. You may have an annual, say an annual vet bill. You may pay a monthly fee to cover all your vet fees on a monthly basis, or you might just take your pets around to the vet as and when required. You may have pet insurance. Now, I mean, we've got 2 dogs and our pet insurance is about £60 a month. So it's amazing how quickly that'll add up. Not only that, but you also got to feed them. So, you might spend £100 on food and £60 for your pet insurance. So call it 160 for pets. Same thing again with other costs. This is infinite. You may have a whole bunch of costs down here for various things. Obviously, adjust this as you need to. Now, that is just a standard monthly budget. what we can now do, and this is specifically for coronavirus, is you can copy that budget forward, and this is where you can start trimming things back. So um, if I do that and do that, so at the moment, this is pretty healthy, this budget for these clients. We've got £3,500 coming in, £2,800 going out, leaving around about £680 spare. Now, technically, they could lose £680 from their collective income, and they would still be okay. And they've still got an okay lifestyle at the moment. Throw into the equation that these people are all going to go on to 80% of income. So you've got 1,500, 80%, so that becomes, say, 1,200. And this person is 2,000, 80% is going to be up to 1,600. Okay, so they're still going to have around about 2,800 coming in. Their outgoings are 2,818. They're actually currently in a negative budget. So if these were two employed people and they only went down to furlough income at 80%, they're going to be in trouble. Okay, not massive trouble, but they're going to be in trouble. It's a negative budget. All they need to do is they can then run through this now that we're going to be locked up indoors for the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, however long it's going to be. And they can now start playing with their budget and seeing where they can save and trim a bit of money. Now, it may be that their mortgage payment can go on a 3-month payment holiday. You take that to zero, and straight away, they've got money left over. Okay. Saying that the mortgage company won't allow them to take a holiday, or for instance, they're paying rent instead of a mortgage, well, that may need to stay where it is. Other places that they may be able to save some money. You've got Sky TV. Do you really need the full box set? You could trim that back down to, say, £35 a month budget. We've only got to find another £3 to balance the budget there. We've got mobile phones. Have you upgraded your contract recently? Can you save a bit of money there? We've got an emergency account. Well, that straight away, we are in the middle of an emergency. Well, that becomes zero. We've balanced the budget again. There's other areas that we can save money on. Life insurance. I would not cancel this. Okay, given the situation that we're currently in, canceling things like your life insurance, your income protection, your critical illness cover, to me, is financial suicide. The complications of coronavirus can be quite severe. So I would strongly recommend that people do not cancel that at the moment. Try and pay that as best you can. Things like your car loan, personal loans, obviously those are going to be set amounts, but your credit card, where you might be overpaying into your credit card, potentially you could go down into minimum payments just for a couple of months to ease that amount of money off. Clothes, you may not be going out and buying clothes at this point in time. I'm sure we can all survive with the stuff that we've already got. School fees, well, that can become zero because obviously the children aren't going to after school clubs. And budgeting, well, we know we can all trim back if we absolutely need to. So you can see that by doing a comprehensive budget like this, okay, very, very quickly, we can trim things backwards and forwards to make sure that we can accommodate the amount of income that we've got coming in. So that's just a very quick way of how to run a budget, guys. My contact details are always, my phone is always on to speak to clients. Yes, I specialize in mortgage protection and stuff like family protection and that. But of course, I'm always open to conversation. I think given the way everything has gone, I think I'll have a little bit of spare time available anyway. So guys, if you would like me to send you a copy of the budget, all you need to do is send an email to inquiries@jffinancial.co.uk. Just give me your name, give me your email address, and say, can I email over budget? I'll be more than happy to do so. And really, the only thing that I'd ask in return for this is that if you do have a mortgage that is due for renewal, in the coming future, be it yourself, your friends, or your family, just give us a shout. Give us the opportunity to quote. Will help keep myself, my business going, which means that I can support my staff as well and keep their mortgages paid as well. So, just trying to pay it forward a bit. Budgeting is absolutely, absolutely key. I do a budget every single month, have done from day one. And yes, it is a case of taking this, and a very easy way of doing this is you take your budget every single month. I will copy it like that. I will then drop it down over there, and I would that becomes February to March. Yeah, it literally is as easy as that. Every single month, write down your income, work out your outgoings. Some of these outgoings might be variable. Make sure that you are balancing at the end of the month. If you're not, you need to cut back somewhere. All right, guys. Hopefully that is useful. And yeah, hopefully everybody gets out the other side and good health to everybody out there. Thank you.